Hey, Michelle, what's going on? How you doing today?
I'm good, Lindsay. Before the show, we were talking a little bit about basketball. Do you like basketball?
I do like basketball. I like that there's so much scoring and it's
Yes.
super fast paced. And sometimes I wish I were a basketball player for the amount of calories I'm sure they torch in a game. It's just they're constantly moving. It's incredible.
It is incredible. Sometimes I look at these players and I just think, how do they do it? It's really what athletes,
Oh,
really.
it's also really fun to imagine how tall they actually are. I never end up on the ground floor in the first row. I mean, that's reserved for like Hollywood stars,
Right,
right?
right.
That's where you really understand how tall they are. But I'm
Yeah.
always studying the stats of how tall this person is and then comparing him to the ref or the umpire or whatever they call
Yeah.
the person in
Yeah.
basketball
Ref.
and just
Yeah.
trying to understand how tall they really are. They're huge.
Do you ever go to games in Denver or?
Yeah, I've been to
Oh,
a
you
few
do? I
games.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we go to games because we get sometimes for my partner's corporate, job, we get
Oh.
seats in the box
Oh,
sometimes.
right,
So,
right.
yeah, super
It's
fun.
to me, I grew up loving basketball.
Mhm.
I was a huge Knicks fan, so guys, that's a New York team,
Yeah.
and I was a huge Knicks fan as a little girl, and I used to cry when they lost, and I was very superstitious, and it was just also a way to bond with my brother, especially because he loved them, and so we really connected over that, and even to this day, we'll text each other, "Oh, are you watching the game? Are you watching the game?" And we
Oh.
still talk about it. So, sports is interesting because uh, for a lot of sports fans, it's really also just an emotional attachment that can sometimes go back a generation or more, right?
Oh,
Maybe your grandfather loved sports or it really it seems like, oh, it's just a game, but at the same time it's very deep.
it's
It's interesting.
I mean, just the fact that you used to cry as a kid, it means
Yeah.
that it was even as a young child for you, it was about so much more than the game, right? It was
Right.
about family. It was about your connection with your brother.
Yeah.
It's about the atmosphere, spending time with people. And
Right.
this is huge, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just basketball, it's really any sport or any kind of
Yeah.
event, right? But basketball is a
Right.
big one in American culture. So our listeners are going to want to know if they're living here or they're watching TV here, what it's all about, right? Yes.
Right. So, um, actually talking about how special it can be on the emotional side, I recently took my son to his very first basketball game at Madison Square Garden.
That must have been
And
amazing.
yeah, and he's 5 and I didn't know how it would be, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because now he's at this age I was telling you where he's starting to be a big boy and he's starting to like these kinds of things, and so I opened up the door for him to start learning about basketball, and he's really loving it, and so now I'm building these memories with my own child, and so you can see it becomes just so special in that way. So we went
Yeah.
to a game, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. He was great. The only thing was I didn't have a chance to eat for the majority of the game.
Oh my gosh, I would be starving.
Yeah,
Oh.
yes, but it's okay. So anyway, but that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about basketball. We did an episode way back. Episode
Mhm.
1207 was why these sports idioms are not out of left field.
Mm.
So this was all different sports, but today we're going to talk about specifically basketball, and we're going to give you some basketball vocabulary. Um, Lindsay, do you think this can be useful even if you're not a basketball fan?
For sure. We're gonna show you guys which ones are actually useful outside of basketball and which ones we wanna reserve for watching basketball on TV, with a friend, or going to a game, and we'll tell you guys exactly which ones are applicable. Right, Michelle? We're gonna give it
Mhm.
to them straight.
Exactly. And guys, I'm sure that we have a lot of basketball fans who are listening to the show. So if you are a huge fan already,
Yeah.
we are giving some of the basics.
Right.
And but let us know. Let us know what teams you
Yeah.
like and or maybe you play basketball. Let us know.
I mean, I know soccer is so popular around the world. I have a feeling that a lot of our listeners may have that connection with soccer, the
Oh,
way you just described this family connection with basketball. I mean,
Yeah,
soccer runs so incredibly deep in so many countries around the world, so
right.
that might be a
But
thing
it's
too.
called football.
Right, it's called football. Maybe we'll go into that another day,
Yeah,
on
right.
soccer. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. So, guys, we are also going to be talking about, sports and share that, maybe you have a question about sports. So, this is going to be, Lindsay, this is not going to be the only episode we talk about this, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a really cool series here, guys, in these next few weeks. This episode is on today on All Ears English, but your next episode in this series is going to be over on Business English podcast in a couple of weeks. So the first thing you want to do right now is go over and find Business English podcast from All Ears English. It's yellow, and hit the
Mm.
follow button. We're going to actually talk over there about how you might build a business relationship, build a relationship with a client or colleague if you go to a game with that person, because we know this happens. People take clients out to games at a very high level. If you are a salesperson, you're trying to make a sale, you very well might end up at a game with this person you're trying to get to know. And so we're going to talk about how to do that. Super high
Yeah.
level. I love it.
Definitely. This is going to be fun. So, today is part one.
Yes.
So, let's get into it. So, the first one is slam dunk.
Right.
Okay.
Love that.
A slam dunk. What is a slam dunk, Lindsay?
This is when you're tall enough that you can jump up and you can actually, your hand is big enough that you can hold the ball in one hand, which is amazing. And then dunk it, like put it right into the basket. Usually they're grabbing onto I don't know if they can legally do that or what, or hanging on the basket. I'm not
Yeah,
really sure,
yeah.
but that's what it is. It's a slam dunk. They put it right into the basket. For
Right.
example, he's going to, do you have a
Oh,
sample sentence here?
he's going to do great at the
Okay.
slam dunk contest this year.
Oh,
Forgot
that's
that word.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to do great. So, there is a slam dunk contest every year as part of the
Mm.
All-Star,
You mean with the
game.
Knicks or just in general?
No, in general, like a whole
Okay.
league thing.
Oh, cool.
Um, so a slam dunk contest. I don't know if it's technically that it has to be one hand. I think it can be two hands, but I think it's
Oh,
just
right. Right, right,
jumping
right.
up and slamming it in. So,
Yeah, I've seen the 2 hands before. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure,
2
for
hands, 2
sure.
hands. Could be
Yeah.
whatever you like. Lindsay, tell us, would you hear this outside of basketball?
I think yes. I think you
Yes.
could. I just think with the caveat, you could say this in business, with the caveat of usually it's said by someone who is also into basketball. If they're going to use it in the business world, I just would find it like not unheard of and not wrong, but I think people who are into the sport might be more likely to say it in the working world. Like if you just killed it on a campaign, you crushed it. Slam
Oh,
dunk,
slam dunk,
do you agree with
yeah.
that? I just feel like, I don't know, there's some crossover there.
Right. I think that it can be used, and in fact, on that other episode 1207, we did talk about that one as well being used in everyday life.
Right.
So, definitely listen to that one for more examples, but, yeah, I would say slam dunk is used, not all the time, but definitely.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Lindsay?
Defense, right? You hear
Yeah,
people
exactly,
say this.
defense.
You can't say defense, right?
Defense, defense.
So common. I've always wondered about this. You hear it everywhere. What do we have to say about this? Defense.
What do we have to say about this defense is when the other team has the ball
Mhm.
and you are either trying to steal the ball or you're trying to get them to not make a basket. So you are playing defense, you're
Yeah.
guarding. So yeah, a lot of times at the games, that's why Lindsay was saying if it's
You
a
hear a
home
chant.
game, right? You'll hear that everybody's defense, done,
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
defense. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It always struck me as kind of strange because I feel like when you're on defense, it's kind of boring and it should be more like offense when you're going for the basket, but I guess
That's
not. I don't
funny.
know.
Yeah, no, but that's a good that's a good point. But maybe, just maybe, it's also used maybe to distract the other team.
Interesting theory, Michelle. Interesting
Oh,
theory.
what
Okay.
can I say?
Okay.
Yes, so you could say the team wasn't doing well when it came to defense, so they let a lot of shots get in.
Yeah. So this one, I don't see this translating into the business world very much, Michelle,
Mhm.
or even into everyday life. Do you?
Yeah. Do I? I mean, I think that it is more just about the game,
Yeah,
but
I think so.
You might talk about not defense, but you might talk about being defensive or
Sure.
defending, but not
Mhm.
necessarily you're not gonna find people going, "Defense!" just
No,
out in
no,
the world, I don't
no.
think.
I agree. So let's leave that one at the game, but that's a good one. And you're going to want to know what's going on because every single game you go to in the US, you're going to hear this chant multiple times throughout the game. It's just everywhere, right? And it's kind of fun. Get
No.
into it, right?
It is fun, it is fun. So, the next word is dribble. So,
Mhm.
this is about the ball. Lindsay, what does it mean to dribble?
To dribble is just to bounce the ball up and down. I'm
Mhm.
not a basketball expert and I've never really played
That's
basketball,
you
but
got
it's the basic thing, right? Dribble.
it.
And the opposite of that would be traveling, right?
Right.
Where I guess you take too many steps with the ball in your hand, right? That's
Right,
traveling.
and then the other team, yeah, they stop it, and I think the other team gets the ball. So, but to
Yeah.
dribble, you gotta keep bouncing, you gotta keep bouncing. So you
Mhm.
could say she
Mhm.
dribbled the ball up the court.
Right. And then if the person didn't dribble and they traveled, the referee stopped the game due to traveling. I don't know if this happens in does this happen in pro basketball? The
It
traveling
sure does.
thing?
I
Okay.
was just talking about this the other
Um,
night with, my friend while we were watching.
hmm.
Yeah, it happens, it does happen.
Okay.
Yeah, it sure does.
Interesting. I
But
didn't know that. Okay. Good to
yeah,
know.
yeah, I remember having this very
Hmm.
conversation. Isn't that funny?
Okay. Okay. I mean, those two expressions, I would say, not really a thing in everyday English. Do you agree? Traveling, because it's a very specific verb.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna talk about yeah,
No. No.
yeah.
But the next one.
Um, the next one is foul, okay?
Mhm.
So, a foul is when you kinda touch someone in a way that could hurt them or block them or just yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I love this one because I think this one definitely translates into everyday English in different
Yep.
ways. And our listeners know this because fouls exist in every sport, right? Everywhere we know this expression, this word. And in everyday English, Michelle, I think you could say, I call foul on that, right? Like someone
Mm.
foul play. It comes up all over the place. We could do a whole other
Yeah,
episode.
we could. Oh my gosh, I am writing this down. Foul. Yeah, foul
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So foul is definitely used.
So that's one that, yeah. So we'll talk another day about how to actually use that in real sentences in English. But for now, guys, just know that when you go to the game, that's a term in basketball as it is in soccer and all other sports. Okay. All right, Michelle, what can we say? Do we want to talk about what to say if we don't know the rules of a game? Do we want to go for
Sure.
that? What do we think?
I
Yeah.
think so because um guys, if you are hearing this and you say I don't really know basketball, right? You want to be able to connect with people and to ask. So one thing you could just say is I never understood the rules of blank. Can you explain them to me? So I never understood the rules of basketball. Lindsay, what's a sport you don't
Oh,
understand?
definitely football. I think
I was
basketball
gonna
is
say
straightforward, but everyone in my
yes.
in-law family is super into football, and so football is always on, but it's kinda complicated actually, football.
I just can't get into it.
American football.
Right, American football. I know that people love it. I get the basic rules, but there's
Yeah.
just so much and like you said about basketball, it's so fast paced. I feel like it's so much fun to watch because it just keeps on
Ugh,
going and going and going. And in football, I don't understand. We're
yeah.
pausing and
There's a lot of
but the clock is still going down. I don't understand.
Right. Yeah, football and basketball are both very slow sports. Basketball's gotten faster because they changed the rules this year about how fast a pitcher has to pitch when they're on the mound. But these are slow sports. That's why, we're talking about other things. We're building relationships. And that goes for basketball too, which we'll talk about on the Business English show. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And what's another thing you could say?
Okay, which team are you rooting for? Rooting for is a
Mhm,
bonus phrase for today, guys.
mhm.
Which team do you want to win? Which team is your favorite? Okay.
Yep, exactly. And then the last one we'll throw out is, are you excited for the blank season? So, are you excited for the basketball season? Oh, and actually we have the football season. I mean, the Super Bowl
Yeah, that's coming up
Yeah.
soon. That's coming up soon
Yeah.
from the time we're recording today. By the time this comes out, it'll already be over, so we'll see what
Who knows what will happen?
happens.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have a role play for our listeners now, Michelle.
Let's do it. So here we are. We are watching a game.
All right. So, did you see that play? Their defense is incredible.
I know. Oh, wow. Slam dunk.
Whoa. Oh no, he got a foul.
That's not a fair call. The ref is all off here. I can't believe he called traveling earlier. I know I saw him dribble.
All right. So we are really getting into the commentary here. I feel like I couldn't watch a game with you, Michelle, because I wouldn't know what's going on. I wouldn't know what to say. But now I do, now that we've talked about this today.
See, I think you know more than you're letting on.
When I look at this role play, I think it's important for our listeners to know about this term defense, right? Instead of their defense, like you say, for example, a defense
Mm.
attorney or the defense on a
Mm.
court case, the defense is a different pronunciation from their defense.
Right.
That's kind of
Right.
interesting,
It
right?
is. Yep, we
Mhm.
could do a whole episode on that as well.
We could.
Um,
We could,
yeah,
but anytime it's in sports, it's defense, it's not
defense.
defense, right? We do say
Yep,
defending, to defend as a verb, so it would
right.
be defend in that case. We're gonna have to go into that another day. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So much that sports can bring us with language
Yeah.
learning.
What else did you say here? Mhm.
I said, "Oh, wow, slam dunk." So I'm watching and the player went up to the basket and just did a slam dunk right in there.
Yeah, I love that. All right, and then I said, "Whoa, oh no, he got a foul."
Mhm, okay. So
Right.
somebody elbowed him or something. Actually, I
Mhm.
just watched, on the Knicks game, the star player got hit in the face, and they didn't
Ooh,
even call a foul, and he got up
really?
and his eye was swollen.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
bad.
it
That's
was
bad.
terrible.
No,
Anyway,
not good. Whew.
yeah.
And then you said that's not a fair call. The ref is
Mhm.
all off here. I can't believe he called traveling earlier. Right. So a lot of people will criticize the ref in different
Yeah.
games. You'll hear that a lot. Right.
Yes, yeah, so the ref is the referee, right? The mere person
Mhm.
making the calls. And then I said, "I know I saw him dribble, so I'm just
Mm.
saying this is not fair."
All right. This has been good. Michelle, what's a takeaway for today?
Well, sports connects people together. We talked about why it's more than just a game and how it can really mean something to people. And I think that's what gets people into it. I don't really have an emotional connection to football, but so many
Right.
people do. But
Big
because
fan.
I have, the emotional connection to basketball, I really care. But it's just good to know about these things. It could come up at work, it could come up socially. Now we also taught you to how to ask about it a little bit in conversations. But give it a try and then stay tuned because we have 2 episodes left of this series coming out. So definitely go on over. You don't want to miss the next episode. It's on the Business English podcast. So hit follow and you'll be there for when it comes out.
All right, good stuff. We'll see you guys over there and we'll talk about how to build a relationship at a game. What kinds of things would we talk about with someone you work with, whether it's a client, a colleague? So stay tuned for that coming out in a couple of weeks. We'll see you guys over there. Good stuff today, Michelle. Thanks for bringing basketball onto All Ears English.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for indulging my interest.
Take care.
Okay.
Talk soon. All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.